quick recap of how I ended up with a negative 4 RR. I made like 3 mistakes this week, right? Which all leaded to a negative one, negative one, negative one. Let's go over it. Fantastic week and get straight into it. When I'm talking about the lessons, the improvements we can have, and the mistakes as well. How can we improve from it? How can we never make it again, right? And the solutions to it, right? As well as any other things, right? Let's get straight into it, right? Weekly time frame, high time frame buys throughout the whole week was bullish. Weekly CO2 to the upside. Daily on Monday, Monday I never had a trading set. I never had a trading setup because we were trading in this, this Friday range. So, my first trade was actually I was in deep profit, but I didn't even do partially there. But yeah, so Monday I had a setup. It was a loss. I made a mistake. What was the mistake? I'm not gonna even go draw it down because that's not a trade I'm supposed to be taking, right? So on Monday we took a setup right over here. This 1 a.m. 5 a.m. candle. We took a setup, and what happened inside the setup was basically we traded inside this range, right? How come is this right over here our range and not this bullish and bearish candle? Because what I thought because I was greedy that time. It was like, okay, I'm trying to make an excuse to get in a trade, right? Because every time you make a mistake, it's simply by being greedy, right? So I was greedy to get in a trade. Guess how the market stopped me out, right? You can see right over here. This right over here was not our range. How come this not our range? It was these range right over here, simply because of the higher time frame CRT. And the higher time frame, that low, the range low and the range high are CRT highs and CRT low. And I'm happy this week, very happy. Why? Although I made mistakes, although I lost negative 4 RR, I found out how to pick the right range dynamic. So the picking the right range dynamic in a 4-hour time frame is simply by the higher time frame CRT, right? The higher time frame CRT is how you find the right range dynamic on the 4-hour time frame, because in the 4-hour time frame, you never want to trade inside the range. You only want to execute once the range high and the range low has been purged. And how do you find if you're in the range? Simply by looking at the range right over here. Is range low at higher time frame CRT low? It is range high at higher time frame CRT high, yes or no? And this range high, range low should not be purged, right? So yeah, in this case, range high, range low did not be purged, so we're not looking to use that, right? In this case, that's why we took a loss, simply because we said it's traded inside the range, because inside the range you never want to execute because it's buyers and sellers, it's dumb money in the market constantly buying and selling, right? That's why that happened, right? Now on Tuesday there was no setup. Market did give a setup here. It definitely did give a setup at the the 5 a.m. candle, but the CRT low, it was not a legit low, so I did not take it. And yeah, that's the only reason I take it. You can see the market push right back down. Wednesday is my second mistake I made right over here. The second mistake I made on Wednesday was basically me. What I did on Monday is basically I was looking for an every day here. I was looking for a New York reversal, New York reversal, New York reversal, right? And on Wednesday, my mistake was if you go to lower time frame. This one I have to draw it down. But we all had the same bias here, right? And on Wednesday we had a kindish midweek reversal, which it was a midweek reversal. We had a daily CRT to the upside, daily IRL to ERL. In this case, you can see we did have a daily CRT to the upside right over here, right? As well, we had a daily IRL to ERL, so I thought I was looking for longs here. I think it was looking good for me, right? But I had to have drawn liquidity as well. You can see we had that bias, and to my trade, what was the mistake here? The mistake was simply when I had this setup right over here, we did have a range. How come it's just a range high, range low, and this is not a range high? Simply because this high is not the higher time for CRT high, right? This high right is the higher time for CRT high, so we're going back out of that range. So we're in a bigger range, we're in a macro range, dude. Eventually we're in a micro range, right? Macro, micro, right? Eventually, over here, the range low got purged, so we want to buy. So there's a lower time frame for execution, which we made a mistake here, right? And the lesson from this specific trade was specifically because of the lesson from which trade was when I executed the trade right over here, right? This is the model one I executed on, and we had a loss, right? What was the mistake here? There was not a legit low, the CRT low, and we did not have the right time to purge, right? You can see we did have an S&P divergence to call it a pair right over here with GU, but this S&P divergence right over here was a false S&P divergence, which this S&P divergence, yes, it is true, but it's not type of S&P divergence I'm looking at. The only time I should be looking for an S&P divergence is with the CRT high and CRT low. In this case, both of the pairs out the CRT low. So if there's S&P that happens, I shouldn't really care about it, right? The only thing I should care about is my other rules that are there, like such as having a legit low. So I'm supposed to be looking for this low to get purged. I'm supposed to be looking for a right time to purge, which is between 6 a.m., right? And that led me to take a trade, made a false, which I'm very happy. It is a new mistake I made. So yeah, and the lesson from this trade was basically just to look for SMT occurred at the CRT highs or CRT lows, right? That was the only lesson I had. And on Thursday we had no setup. Thursday we did have a setup here for a near continuation, right? It was very clear our target was all over here to the 50% mark and the CRT high. How come we all to the CRT high right over here? Simply because of the, let me go mark it down real quick right over here, right? Why was our target over here? All over here since it's a Thursday, right? And you guys know on Thursday you don't want to go for a huge target because market needs to close at a fair price, right? Thursday and Friday needs to close at a fair price. But we had a midweek reversal, so that means Thursday should be a big expansion candle to the upside or downside, right? In this case, to the upside, right? So if we go to the hourly time frame, I did have an entry here. But the entry offered less than 2 hours, so I did not proceed to take it, right? That's a COT low. As you guys know, for near continuation, it happens starting from 8 a.m. So we had actually divergence with the 7 a.m. candle. Let me go get it right over here. I see the divergence with the call repair, but a 15-minute time frame. I mean 5 minutes for the execution because time from alignment. Right over here, you can see S&P divergence, and this trade did give it a setup here, perfect setup, beautiful setup, but the RR was off to the initial take profit, which is right over here, right? So the CRT high should be offering us a 2 RR simply because why? Because now I'm guaranteed to make a 2 RR, right? And the bonus rewards are not guaranteed to get there at that point. So that's why I need a 2 RR at least to the initial goal, which is right over here, right? You can see I need a 2 RR, which already got 0.54 RR. So I didn't take the trade. But target one was right over here. The 2 RR, target two, which was all over here for a for a 5 RR, right? Yes, over here give us a more RR, but I need to additional take profit. I need at least a 2 RR, right? Which I didn't have, which is fine, right? Because we want to focus on the highest probably setups, right? But that was the only setup we had, and that setup offered the 2 RRs, and I take it. So on Friday was the next day. The Friday I made another mistake here. I first trade was a beautiful trade, but I was saying we had the same pass here. We had maybe reversal to the upside. We had a daily discount area got tapped, so golden range high. We had a daily IRL to ERL. We had a 4-hour IRL to ERL. We had a 4-hour CRT to the upside. Right, we were looking for a near reversal profile one. We had a bullish order flow. So our narrative was overall throughout the whole week bullish, right? And you can see right here in the 4-hour time frame, you can see the market price of the CRT low. The CRT low did not have a legit low, so we're looking for it to get pressed again. Boom, we got pressed right. It got pressed again. And I'm looking at this specific time of the bridge, which is supposed to be at between 6 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Right? You can see this bridge did not happen at the right time, so market pressed right back down. Eventually, at 6 a.m., market pressed below the 5:45 a.m. candle low, so that was the right time to purge. And I was looking to enter the trade, enter there, stop loss right over here. And thing here, although you could say, well, like, oh, isn't it Friday supposed to close at a fair price? It's a midweek reversal, so Friday should have been a continuation instead of a retracement, right? So that's that, right? And you can see market that it was an entry, instantly stopped us out, which is fantastic because if you're like basically this day Pacific day, there was a lot of news, so market should be moving faster, right? If you're wrong, market should stop you out instantly, like fast, relatively fast. If you're wrong, I mean, if you're wrong, right? If you're right, market should relatively go fast to your target price. Eventually, where did the mistake come from? This trade right here, I follow all my rules, right? I had the Pacific time the purge at the legit low, getting legit low got purged, right? This low was not legit low, so I'm looking at this other low to get purged, and that's what you had. Where does the mistake come from here? The mistake comes from the next trade that we took, right? I took 2 trades in a day, so I just lost an unnecessary loss. Because although this right up here offered the perfect setup, just our box was wrong, right? Probability game, and this one just forced it, and eventually, guess what happened? Market hit our target one right over here, but I did not break even. Starting from now on, I will go for the 50% mark as a take profit, right? And I break even but I will not partial too much on the 50% mark. I'll just partial less than usual, right? Eventually, you can see market did come back down, plummet to the stop downside, hit our stop loss right over here, right? Because that's what happened right over here. And yeah, that is our weekly market recap. Now let's go over our improvements we can have, right? The first improvement is I wake up at 5 a.m. every single day, regardless of how I feel, regardless of the new graduation, or regardless of whatever time I'm trading. I wake up at 5 a.m., right? Next improvement we can have is I only care about the estimated divergence that occurs at the CRT high or CRT low. If both pairs purchase the CRT high or CRT low, and I get an estimated divergence, but if that estimated divergence breaks any other rule, such as having a legit low and having the right time to purge, I will. I mean, not I will. I do not enter the trade because that SMT breaks my other rules, right? The only time I care about SMT divergence that happens between 6 a. The only time I care about SMT divergence that is with the CRT highs and CRT lows, right? Other than that, I don't really care about it. And what else? Don't trade. I'm not gonna trade. I do not trade inside the range, right? Why am I saying I? Because this I will is like a weaker word to say. We will is not like a less trusty word to say. So I say I more than will, right? The next improvement we can have is not trading inside the range. I do not trade inside the range simply because what I'm saying, buyers or sellers is constantly buying and selling, right? So that means you're eventually get stopped out because market needs to do a breakout outside of one side of the range, right? Eventually manipulate that high or low, eventually go the other way around. You're gonna get stopped out, right? And how do we know pick the right range dynamic? Because it's objective, not objective. The way to pick it right is by literally, because for us, I only use my range dynamic during a 4-hour time frame, right? Because I can't use an hourly time frame, I can't use it in a 4 hour, I can't use it in a daily. For my range dynamic specifically or narrative is meant for the 4-hour time frame, right? And how to pick the right range dynamic is by simply going the higher time frame, going on the daily or weekly, right? Looking for there being a or monthly, I mean, right? All any time frame above the 4-hour time frame, right? And look in there, okay, is this range dynamic low on the 4-hour time frame? Low is the higher time frame CRT low or not, right? If it's not the CRT low or the higher time frame, I'm gonna disregard that as our range dynamic, right? If I to go to different low, is this range dynamic low a higher time frame CRT low? Yes, okay, there's gonna be a range high. Okay, what about this side? This high right over here is a higher time frame CRT high, right? And for the range high, range low, the range CRT high, CRT low, the higher time frame should not be purged, right? Unless once the extreme side of once the extreme side of the range gets purged like this, eventually then we can look for a trade here, right? In this case, in this trade with this specific example, neither side of the range got purged, so we want to only execute once the range low got purged. You can see range low got purged right over here. We want to buy, right? How come is this range dynamic still valid although the higher time frame CRT got invalidated? How come is it still valid? Simply because of range dynamic, right? Range dynamic is subjective. It's not gonna be, although the CRT got disrespected, this range is still effective, right, in a market because the range high has not been purged out yet, right? You can see market purged out the range low, get a huge balance up to the upside. Even we got another micro range right over here, range dynamic. This is the higher time frame. This range low right over here is the higher time frame CRT low. Market pushed it out and eventually went to the range micro range dynamic high, right? You can see how that makes sense. And what's the next improvement we can have from this week is by taking one trade a session, regardless of the news or anything else, right? Taking one trade per day. I mean, not per session, per day. Why taking only one trade per day is the best? Simply because a human mind can't do more than 2 choices a day about money, right? So if you take one trade and you don't have a rule, we can only take one trade. You're gonna take a next trade. Eventually, your mind can't do more than 2 choices a day for like things that involve money, right? And trading, as you guys know, always involves money. When you enter a trade, you either make money or lose money, right? So that's why. And the only reason I'll do one is because to have the sharpest and to have the highest probability, right? So it makes me take the highest probability setup, makes me try to do a one shot, one kill, right? And the last improvement we can have is simply by being satisfied by building good habits, right? satisfaction, right? You gotta be satisfied because if you're not satisfied, and when you build good habits, your mind can be like, oh yeah, I'm not getting nothing from this, right? If you're satisfied, like, oh yeah, kind of happy because I followed my rules, I built good habits. Although the day went on a red, but I followed my rules, it's still a green day for me, right? For my strategy, for my emotions, right? But if I go on a green day, but I build bad habit, that day can be specifically, a red day for me because I didn't have good habits, broke my rule because my rules are set to help me for a long term game where I'm profitable in the long term. And every time I pick the short term over the long term, like either I pick to be a professional trader or a reckless gambler. If I'm picking a reckless gambler, I'm picking my short term desires over my long term success, right? So yeah, this is my weekly market recap. Use the lessons. I will look at this video again. Yeah, but yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.